Projects constantly evolve and adapt to meet a variety of challenges, like changes in scope, new change orders, site delays, shifts in the market, or underlying economic trends. Failure to manage those changes could impact project progress or, worse, failure. Do you know, 56% of projects are bound to succeed with proper change management? This highlights why knowing how to plan, coordinate, and carry out change is a valuable skill for project managers. Also, there is one most important factor, which decides the success of the change management process. I often find that the project team ignore this aspect, ends up with disappointment, and negatively impacts the project. I will discuss this later in this video. So, stay tuned. Change management has become one of the most critical success factors for any project in today's ever-changing world. The project management world is changing at a fast pace, technology keeps evolving, customer trends are changing, new types of projects are being launched on a regular basis, and project management has to cope with unprecedented global crises like COVID-19. Companies that can't adapt to efficient project management processes are likely to be outcompeted by agile competitors and even disappear. That's why managing changes on projects should be one of your top priorities. And in my experience, using a change management plan can mean the difference between a successful or failed project. And here's why. A change management plan defines activities and roles to manage and control the change during the project lifecycle. So before initiating change on projects, you should be basically following the 7 principles. These are the key questions which you should be answering for a successful change management process. The first R is that, who raised the change? Unauthorized changes are unwanted changes. With so many entry points, stakeholders, and siloed sources of change, it's no wonder that this phenomenon creates such a problem. The second R is finding the reason for the change. Answer this question so you can avoid changes that introduce risk without offering any corresponding business benefits. In fact, without a process for validating the answer to this question, strategic initiatives can easily take a back seat to an incessant deluge of a tactical change. Regardless of the type of change, every major change should be assessed against an agreed-upon project strategy. The third R is what return is required from the change. Basically, the expected outcomes of the changes. Understanding the return generated by change, including the cost and project financial impact, is the key. This determines the priority of strategic and project-driven changes. The fourth R is knowing what are the risks involved in the change. By default, all change involves risk. The question is how much risk. Some risks can be avoided or mitigated, and some have to be accepted. You must make every effort to assess the likely impact of change on your project and business. The concept of severity can be applied to potential risks as well as to actual problems. What is the best and worst case scenarios if things go wrong? No one has a crystal ball, but it is certainly reasonable to expect a degree of forethought before making changes. The fifth R is to find what resources are required to deliver the change. To implement any changes, the resource is always needed. From a people perspective, mechanisms need to be in place to determine what skills, materials, labor, and support are needed to make the change. The impact on other projects must be considered if people and assets are reallocated to address this change. The sixth R is to find who is responsible for the build, test, and implement portion of the change. Anyone managing a project should be able to answer this question. Responsibilities for each of these 3 functions must be appropriately segregated, especially in light of compliance and auditing requirements. Segregation of responsibilities, however, should not be restricted to application development. It should be traceable, enforceable, and actionable across the entire change and release management process, from change request to deployment. The seventh R is to find the relationship between this new change and other previous changes. With so many changes occurring concurrently in complex project environments, this can be difficult to answer. Change relationships need to be determined from within and across functional boundaries. Failing to do so will result in longer periods of planned downtime due to incorrect sequencing, site delays, poor quality, and so on. Shared scheduling of planned changes can help the entire project team. Following these 7 R principles, project managers will ensure that the changes are communicated in a clear, compelling, and credible manner. With this approach, they will cut to the heart of their transformation efforts and buy into the stakeholder involvement in the change management process. Change is not always perceived as positive, and many key project stakeholders may be resistant to changes. Therefore, successful change management on a project is all about getting approval and buy-in from the leadership team. Leadership has a big impact on employee engagement and change order approval. If your leaders are not convinced about the benefits of change, it will be hard to implement it. Slow approval processes can cause delays in change implementation. Analyzing and answering these 7 questions provides you with an edge over change management intricacies. Doing so enables organizations to input a set of metrics that provide a more objective means of measuring change risk, which goes a long way towards making services more reliable and available to customers. Also, these questions offer a great way to assess how well your change management process complies with the current project status, and also help to pinpoint gaps that can be bridged between senior management and the project team. The concepts and techniques you learned at Projects Mind are applicable to all your projects and are used by Fortune 500 firms. If you like this video, then hit the like button and let us know how you feel about us by leaving a comment in the below section. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to see our latest videos when they come out. See you later, and bye for now.